Hello and welcome to Picking Principles. I'm back with this American 1100 that was a gift from Lady Locks. Thank you very much, Lady Locks, for this and the many other locks that you sent me. The last video I shot, this had defeated me, and you'll recall me saying that I hadn't watched any of the videos recently, and so I couldn't remember the tips for the 1100. So you can see that I have a working 1100 here. And I watched the videos. Lady Locks recently put one up, and so did, well, I don't know if it was recent for Isaac Cashman or not. I can't remember the date on it, but I'm going to use some of the tips. One of their tips was to mark your pick, which I've not done because I don't seem to have too much trouble finding the location, but they did suggest top of the keyway tension and, to check your bidding. And because I have a key, I was able to do that. And so if we look at the bidding on this key, you'll see that I've got in spot 1 pretty much a max cut, spot 1 and spot 5 slots, and then slot 1 and 4, and then 3 and 5 are almost max cut as well. So really the only one that's going to require a lot of lifting here is 2. And if we look at the code here, you'll see that this in fact says 85787. So 2 8s and 2 7s, which means there's not a lot of lifting to be done. So I'm just going to very gently lift up the pins as they're binding. Now, because the 1100 has this keyway on an angle, you kind of have to rotate it a little bit in order to hold it and make sure you're picking straight up. That was another tip. So here we go, starting at the front with my deep hook in 15 thousandths, so I can pick from the bottom. Okay, nothing on 1, 2 springy, nothing on 3, 4 is binding, little click out of 4, and little click out of 5. Back to the front, 1 is now binding. Oh wait, that was probably, hang on a minute. Okay, I think I got a little click out of 1, and maybe a little bit of movement on the core. Nothing on 2, 3 is binding. Got a little click there on 3. Don't want to go too far though. Back to the front. One's good, 2 is good, 3 is good, 4 is good, and 5 is good. I hope I didn't overset. Just gonna feel for some pins that are binding on my way out here. Looks like I got something right at the front. You'll notice that every once in a while I apply some pretty heavy tension. And that's because a lot of people have also commented that sometimes the 1100 is open and you don't know it. There we go. Just a little bit more of a nudge on 1. And we got it open. So much thanks to the tips from everybody for helping me with that. I'm sure that I am the benefactor of, some pretty straight bidding here with not a lot of lifts, which means that the key pins, the driver pins, which are normally a mix of serrated and spools, I didn't have to contend with a lot of those. So let's open this up. Must be some Loctite, there we go. Open this up. And let's look at exactly what is inside this 1100. Okay, so there's the orientation of the core. When I'm holding it with the hole that the shackle goes in that way, I'm basically at the 1 o'clock position. So I've not locked this back up. Okay, there's the actuator. Let's see if I can shim it. It's pretty oily. Wait, is there a clip there blocking my way? Look at that grease. Oh yes, there's the clip. Where's my gutting wrench? There it is. I do have a key, so if this does lock up, it's not the end of the world. It's a small clip. Okay, so it did lock back up. No, not fitting anything in there. I don't think I've got a follower that's got a half cut out there for the actuator, though. I do. Let's see if it's the right size. No, it's way too big. Well, I'll be. Okay, that's as far as I can get that. Get a small follower. Okay. So you can see, in fact, there are 5 pins, but there's a slot for a 6th, which is surprising to me. And if we look really closely, let me zoom a little and focus. You can see those key pins. So you can see that we do have serrated key pins in there, 5 of them. I'll take those out in a minute. Probably going to need the help of the key. Oh, sorry. There's pin 1, a spool. 2 is serrated. 3 is a spool. 4 is serrated. Lots of serrations on that pin. And 5 is a spool. These are tiny little pins. And we're going to see how these pins interact just because of that bitting. See if any of them come into play. So you can see right off the get-go that most of them are almost already at the shear line, except for pin stack 2. So if I take 5, which is this spool, the spooling doesn't even, whoop, it won't even stay in. The spooling, is that a serrated spool? I believe that is. Let me get a close-up on that. Ah, it's so oily or greasy. Yeah, look at that. Little serrations. At the ends of the spools. Oh. See that? So that'll catch if there's anything to be caught. Anyhow, as I was saying, when that one's in slot 5, only the little serration, so none of the spooling catches. And if I go to slot 2, which is a serrated pin, you can see that it sits okay, but it's only going to catch, 1 or 2. Got my shim stuck to my finger. Only 1 or 2 of those as well. So let's really quickly dump these key pins. 1 long serrated, 2. Yeah, it's got serrations on it as well. 3. Whoops, everything just jumped over 1. Okay, just trying to organize, sorry. Just arrange these key pins to give you a close-up. Okay, here everything is. Might as well have them all sit. So all serrated key pins, serrated driver pins in spots 2 and 4. And little serrated spools in 1, 3, and 5. So I feel like with my bidding on my key, as I mentioned, I got pretty lucky, which made this open probably a little bit easier than a different one, which would have some highs and lows and everything like that. And a lot of these security features maybe didn't come into play, which is why it did not take me very long to get into this. I'm sure future 1100s will be much more challenging. I've seen some of the ones that other people have, which seem quite tough. So I'm going to put this all back together. Thank you again, Lady Locks, for this excellent lock. I appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't. Feel free to leave comments and suggestions below as always. And thanks. Have a great day.